guys, when we started this particular podcast, we had a list of guys that we were dying to talk to just because they're legends and they're people that really helped to make the UCF program what it is. And top on that list is the guy who's able to join us tonight. So happy that we're able to catch up with Daunte Culpepper and have him on the show. First off, Daunte, thanks so much for joining us, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, we appreciate you for coming on, and obviously, you got a lot of history at UCF, but I want to kind of go way back to the beginning. There's a lot of legendary stories about your commitment to UCF and sort of what made you decide to come to UCF. All the other schools kind of after you. Can you kind of briefly talk to us about how you decided to come to UCF and what that recruitment process was like for you?
Well, going into my senior year in high school, I had a lot of the top schools, a lot of the schools in general, wanted me to come to their school, wanted me to play quarterback for them. And going into my senior year, it wasn't that I didn't, wasn't that I couldn't do it. I just didn't put myself in the positions to get the best grades, and whether it be just doing enough just to be eligible. That was my situation. So I figured out that that wasn't the way to do it, because all the schools start recruiting me, and not having anybody call me, it kind of woke me up a little bit, and then during that time, the only school that was still continuing to contact me and just gain a rapport with me and just really wanted to help me out was UCF. They sat down and gave me a plan of what I need to do over my senior year and to become eligible. And that's what I did. And when I became eligible, all the schools started calling back and trying to get back into Daunte Culpepper, sweepstakes or whatever. But I stayed with UCF because they showed me that they cared about me more than just a football player at the time. They wanted to help me as a young man, and that I like that.
Daunte, we saw recently Paul Lonsberry had a video out talking a little bit about your recruitment. How big was he in your recruiting period, and how much did he kind of play a pivotal role in you coming to UCF?
Coach Lonsberry?
Yeah.
Oh, he was very big. He was the one that sat down with my high school coach and came up with the plan. But as far as the communication goes, he was always calling and talking with me and checking with me, and Coach Cruz was and Coach Gooch. It was all of them were genuinely just checking with me, and we kind of became a family in that sense that they looked out for us more than just as guys that play football.
Daunte, you were very highly rated coming out of high school, Mr. Florida football, and you come to a UCF at the time's Division II. When you get to campus, what do you think about the talent, the rest of the talent on the roster? Did you feel like a man among boys, or did you see that there was other guys on this team that could play?
Oh no, it was guys that could flat out play. It was guys who could play. We were 1AA at the time, but Todd Cleveland was, in my opinion, as good as anybody, and I got to see him on my recruiting trip. I saw his first game, and the first 3 times he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. He was dynamite, and I figured he's one of the best players in the country, and he's one of the reasons I wanted to go to UCF. Also, it was another reason because I could play with players like his caliber, because he was as good as anybody in the country, no doubt about it. And he wasn't the only one. You go up and down the roster, we had guys that really can play the game and love the game of football, and we all worked hard to get better over time.
Back in your days, Daunte, UCF was the Road Warriors to start a season. It wasn't unusual for there to be 3 or 4 road games during the month of September. What was the mindset of the team? I mean, these were tough opponents at Ole Miss, at South Carolina, the famous one at Nebraska. Was it UCF against the world at that point?
You know what? We didn't care. You know, we were just tough-minded, resilient group of guys that wherever they took us, Randy Dawson always used to kid us. Man, they treat us like we the Marines. They take us anywhere and drop us off to play anyway. So, but you know what? We liked it. You know, we liked the challenge. It was a challenge, and we knew that we had something to say about the game of football. You know, we wanted people to know that football. You play football not just at Miami, Florida State, and Florida. It's good football in the state of Florida, UCF as well.
Daunte, I know you were on campus recently, and you've seen all the new buildings and the new on-campus stadium. Compare that to the facilities that you had at UCF. What were you looking at for a weight room? What were the facilities like? Practice fields? What was that like when you got there in '95?
It wasn't as it is now. The facilities they have now is, second to none. You go to any top-notch school in the country, that's what you're going to see. That type of facility, and that's great. And that's what it's all about. But as far as what we had, we did well with what we had. It wasn't the worst and it wasn't the best, but it wasn't what it is today. That's just that's what it's all about. I'm glad that UCF has come to that.
Coach Kruzak had a high-flying offense back then. He loved to throw the ball around. How well did that system fit your style of play?
Fit me perfectly. What I love about the offense, if you're accurate and you can get the ball out of your hands on time, you can make a lot of good things happen in an offense. And Coach Cruz, he was a stickler about that, and he was just a really good coach, really good quarterback coach. And he was another reason I went to UCF, just to have somebody of his caliber who's been at the NFL level and knows what it takes to get there. Being with somebody like that really, really helped me out and gave me confidence to know that I could play at the next level.
I know he liked to put a lot of responsibility on the quarterback to call audibles and stuff. Was that true right out of the gate as a freshman for you, or did that have to kind of build up over the 4 years?
It was somewhat. We had it gave me some leeway as a freshman, but as I became, more mature in the offense, my sophomore, junior, and going into my senior year, I pretty much had control over everything. But, he was giving it to me, in phases, when he felt I was ready. But as a freshman, I did have, a lot of check with me and a lot of, read plays that made me, have to know what we're doing.
We're in an era now where there are 40-plus bowl games, but that certainly wasn't the case when you played. I was at Auburn in that game in which UCF led, and it just got away there at the end, and UCF finishes 9-2. That season, you just thought that this was going to be a bowl opportunity for you, right?
We really, really thought that and wanted it to be. It was it was a good season. We fell short 2 games. Those 2 games wish we could have them back, but it was 2 pretty good teams. But it was a weird thing that happened that weekend when UCLA got beat by Miami, and some teams who weren't supposed to win ended up winning, and it kind of chain reaction knocked us out. But hey, that's just football, man. It is what it is.
Daunte, going back to that 1997 season, Trace touched on this. You guys started Ole Miss, started South Carolina, and then go to Nebraska. And those were 3 games, particularly the first 2, where you guys were in it towards the end. Looking back on those 3 games, which one of those hurts the most? Which one do you still kind of remember, or still kind of eats at you?
Man, I remember all of them. I say, Ole Miss. We were right there, right there, and my foot, I even tripping over one of my linemen right when I was about to stick the ball out and lost the ball right at the 1-yard line, man. That right there, that would hurt, but there's a couple in there, man, uh, that sticks out too. Nebraska was probably one of the best feelings. Going into halftime, being up on those guys, and then after the game, getting a standing ovation from their home crowd. That right there was what it's all about. We they let us know that they appreciated football, and it was just something I had never experienced, and it was great. It was great to be a part of that.
Well, that second game against South Carolina, you and Sia Burley really took stage. You had a one long touchdown pass and another to him later in the game. How much fun was it playing with a guy like Sia Burley?
Oh, man, Burley was a beast, no doubt about it. Burley was a baller. He told me he wanted to come out there and play with me, man. I was like, man, who is this little dude from Arizona come way over here to Florida? But as soon as he got on the field, man, he was a perfectionist. His hand-eye coordination was excellent. He had great speed, great feet, everything you want in a receiver. And he's very quick, and his IQ level is very high as a player. So he learned offense quick, and he stepped right in and became an instant star. Just because he had the skills to do that.
You easily could have left for the NFL after that season, and nobody would have blamed you. Did any of those losses play a part in your decision to come back for your senior year? Or what else played into that decision?
I say we were a close-knit group, and I felt like, I thought I could have went to the NFL at that time and been successful, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna stay another year, work hard, get better than I am, and have a chance to do something special at UCF. That was another reason. So I said that played a part in it. Wanted to do something special. We really wanted to be the first bowl team to win a bowl game. Fortunately, it didn't work out that way, but
And UCF's been in some bowl games since, notably now the most recent win over Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl. How much satisfaction do you get seeing a Knights team defeat an in-state rival like the Florida Gators?
It was awesome. It was great. I got friends that played at UF, but it was absolutely great. That night, we talk about competing at that level and beating, story franchise like that, and that's what it's all about. I was just very proud to be a Knight.
And UCF's played Miami, they've played Florida, but boy, they haven't played Florida State since back in your time. What was that experience like to go up to Tallahassee and play the Seminoles, who were just so hot in college football in the 90s?
Yeah, man, they were great. There was a lot of guys that played in the NFL, but going against them, I figured I played against some of those guys in high school, and so I kind of got a gauge of what type of player they were. We just had to, we just go in and play the game, and still football. They were ranked one of the top teams in the country. I don't think that we were intimidated. We just weren't able to come out with the victory. But we went in there expecting to let them know that they're playing against good football players as well.
Daunte, people look at UCF now and they see 70,000 plus students in enrollment. Mike Trace and I all went to school while you were there as well, and it was obviously a much smaller campus, a much smaller school at that point in time. You being sort of the star quarterback, right, the leader of the team, how much were you recognized on campus? What was life like just on campus being Daunte Culpepper, the quarterback?
It was fine, man. I guess I had a wonderful time, as my being a quarterback at UCF. Everybody, they just supported the team and loved the team, and I made a lot of friends, and a lot of people I'm still friends with to this day. That I'm glad I had a chance to experience what I experienced at UCF. It was great.
Last week, UCF suffered a tough game, and the quarterback turned the ball over 4 times. I know everybody has a game like that. You had a game like that against Auburn. What do you remember about that Auburn game and how you turned the page, and what advice would you give Plumlee this week to put that one behind him?
Well, that's what you got to have, a short memory. You play the game of football, you got to have a short memory, whether it's good or bad. You have a good game, you celebrate, you watch the film, and it's over. So you have a bad game, you figure out, what went wrong, and you watch the film, and then it's over. So you gotta. That's what I would tell them. Just move on to this week, and I'm pretty sure that that's what the coaches and everybody have been telling them was most important. So that's what I would tell them. Forget about it, learn from your mistakes, and move on. And remember, good players don't make the same mistakes twice. And that's how you move on from it.
You say they're short memory, but then as the years go by, you say also you remember those moments, those games. Does it seem like it was the late 90s? Does it seem that long ago?
I would say, some things I remember familiar, and some things, get vague. The time goes on, man. But hey, it is what it is.
And you went from being a student athlete to earlier this season addressing the current group of Knights. What was it like to get that ask, and what was it like to stand before those players and share some of your perspective?
Well, it was great. It was great. I could see myself in a lot of those guys. Just remember, bright-eyed freshman from Ocala, Florida. Just not really knowing what to expect. Coming to college, and now I've been through it and have been able to play the NFL and look back and just I just want to let them know, like, hey man, I was right there. Same spot y'all were in, man. Nothing more special about me. I just put in a lot of effort and hard work. I think that's the one common denominator you're gonna find with guys who play in the NFL. Everybody's got a lot of talent and even skill, but the guys who work the hardest and who understand the grind last long. And so that's what I wanted to let them know.
Daunte, colleges today, the offenses are wide open. Quarterbacks are running the football, a lot of RPOs, a lot of rules have changed where you can't even hit a quarterback. How much damage would you do if you got to play in the offenses that they run today?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. If a receiver didn't really have to worry about getting hit when he couldn't see the defender, I think numbers would be crazy. But it is what it is, man. I understand the change of the game. You want to keep the players as healthy as possible. So that's why the game has changed to what it is. But I understand. But I definitely the rules weren't as they weren't where the way they are now, for sure.
You'd have racked up some touchdowns, right? You'd have racked up some yards in that kind of offense, right?
Obviously, I would assume, yeah. I think we be a lot more, because you can take more chances, and the receivers can really concentrate more on the ball, and if you're pretty accurate, then your completion percentage should go up and everything. It should be it's better for an offensive player right now, for sure.
Another big difference in college football right now is these NIL deals. So the kids are getting paid to play. I remember when I stepped on campus as a freshman, you were a senior. I went to Burger King, and your face was all over the menus and the cups and all that stuff, a big picture of Daunte. How many deals would you have had back then in 98?
I don't know. I definitely would have some, for sure, but I couldn't tell you, but it's I think it's good for the players. It's good for the players to be able to, capitalize on their likeness. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good move.
Mackenzie Milton brought together you and Blake Bortles for the mission control of that. All right, Coach Culpepper, give us a scouting report. Give us a scouting report on Blake Bortles and as well Mackenzie Milton, what you saw from them.
As players,
Yes.
oh, both were ballers, no doubt about it. You know, Blake could run it, could throw it. Was a gamer. You know, Mackenzie the same way, man. Mackenzie was not as big and physical as Blake, but he could throw it and is very accurate. And both what I would consider ballers, man, and were great players. And I was definitely admired watching them play.
Daunte, you talked about at the beginning of this, just wanted to come to UCF and wanted to be a part of something and wanted to build something. How much pride do you take in seeing where UCF is now, where, again, that we're in the Peach Bowl, undefeated season, going to a Power 5 program? How much pride do you kind of look back and know that you're one of the guys who helped kind of build this thing and take UCF to where it's at?
I mean, it gives me a tremendous amount of pride. You look back and just to been a part of it, and I'm glad to have been able to been a part of it and have a chance to be a part of something and watch something grow. I talk with old buddies of mine that played, and we're always rooting for the team. We're always pulling for the team, and never got too far away. Even though people, I don't know who started saying I'm never around, but I still would come to a game. I just never would talk to the media or be in front of the media, so nobody would probably want to see me there. But I used to be at games. But I'm glad to have been able to watch it grow, and I'm anxious and curious to see us get bigger and better, and dominate this next conference we're going to next year.
Well, so when you got to the NFL and people asked you where you went to college, how long did it take them to really kind of recognize UCF's name? Did you get a lot of where's that or never heard of that school? And how long before people started to realize who UCF was?
It wasn't too long after I got in the NFL. I would say once probably about 2-3 years after once I got there, people really start paying attention. We start winning. Coach Leary, when they won the bowl, that was big. When you win bowl games, people hear about you and you get talked about. So, it definitely wasn't long, and I'm glad to have been a part of where it has come to today.
We talked to a bunch of your old teammates. We talked to Coach Kruzek, and everybody has some kind of legendary Daunte Culpepper weight room story. So I know you used to have a lot of fun back there throwing the weights around. Did Cruz ever get mad at you because you're benching more than him and squatting more than him back then?
No, he would never get mad at me like that, man. Coach Cruz, he was a workout for. I mean, he was a crazy man when it came to the gym, man. He just was the. We used to have fun with it, though. He'd always tease about he was squatting more than everybody, and he just wanted to be the strongest. But that was what it was, man. That was he came up doing the weightlifting era, man. So he really took care of himself, and he continued to do it.
You mentioned you've been back and you saw fans at the Mission Control event. How does it make you feel to be received so well by Night Nation?
I mean, it's great. It's great to be recognized in a good way, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate the fans, all the UCF fans and Orlando fans, everybody. I always appreciate it, and like I said, I'm glad to have been a part of it. It's great.
And it's a homecoming weekend for UCF versus Cincinnati. I've heard some rumors you might be back for that one.
Oh, definitely. I'll definitely be back. Come with a couple of older players. We're gonna, we're meeting there to watch the game, and it should be fun. It should be a good one. We're looking forward to getting back on the winning side of things. I think we're gonna bounce back this week.
Yeah, we definitely need a big win, Daunte, and you've been really generous with your time, so we definitely appreciate you. We'll get you out of here on this. We'd like to end every interview. We ask some rapid-fire questions. Could be about music, movies, sports, anything kind of random like that. So we've got a couple of fun ones for you here. So here's my first one for you. Who was your funniest teammate? Which teammate of yours, if you needed a laugh, you knew you could go to this guy and he would make you laugh?
Man, so many. I would say Doug Chapman.
Okay. Let's say you needed to get into a 2-on-2 wrestling match. Which teammate of yours would you want as your tag team partner?
Wow. Johnny Randall.
All right, and then my last one. I don't know if you can confirm this story. We talked to a former walk-on who played 97-98 with you. Do you remember Mike Osuna?
Yeah, I remember Osuna.
He told us a story that one time he cheap shotted you at practice and knocked you down, and he basically got chewed out by the coaches and had to face some punishment. Is that true? Did he actually knock you down blind? Cheap shot you at practice?
I don't know. He might have. I don't. A lot of those guys used to cheap shot. We cheap shot each other, man. That's just what it was. That was the fun part about it. But we might be arguing here, but we're best of friends by the end of practice. So, yeah, we might even got in a fight here and there with a teammate, but it didn't go past practice. That's just what happens at practice sometimes. But he might have did it. Do I remember it? No, I don't remember. But Osuna was a good player, man. He was a really good player.
If somebody did cheap shot you, what was your reaction typically?
Well, it depends. If it happened in the game, I'm not gonna do anything usually to get a penalty. But if it's at practice, then I might go at him here and there. I might tell him I can get him on the next play or something. I don't know. I might tell him, hey man, this dude just took a cheap shot at me. Let's get him right. I might tell one of the running backs or the linemen to give him some kind of way, but nothing, to hurt nobody. But we used to, everybody cheap shot each other just here and there. That's football.
We know back then the big hangout spot was CVI, right? Collegiate Village Inn. What other places would we find Daunte hanging out at around campus?
Around campus, I don't know. CVI is where we lived as a team. We lived in the dorms over there, and I don't know. There's not many places. Just maybe on campus, roaming around. I don't know. Wasn't really a whole lot of hangout spots over there.
When you're hanging out with the boys watching a football game, what's your food and drink of choice?
Oh man, I don't know. Wings, pizza, regular game food, and big.
You're a toppings on the pizza guy, or just plain cheese?
Don't matter. Pepperoni probably is about it.
Earlier, we talked about all of the big games that you played in. A lot of those were close losses by the Knights. If you could have one back, which one would you have back? You think, that's the one we could have won right there.
Oh, my goodness. Definitely the Auburn, man. Auburn game, I think we lost that game in one play. I don't know. I mean, maybe we get down in there. I had 4 picks that day. It was a tough day on offense. Defense played their brains out that day. It was one play. One missed tackle changed the whole game. So.
Not to make you feel bad about that one. I'm there with a buddy. Right, we're up, and that was all the bowl talk. Besides all that UCLA stuff, and we have no money, and we're saying, what do we got to do? We got to put this stuff on credit cards because there was talk of the Oahu Bowl. We're like, we got to get to Hawaii. We've got to go to this bowl game, and he kept telling me, don't talk like this. And he didn't talk to me for 2 hours after that game. He blamed, to this day, he blames me. He doesn't blame you or the team. He blames me for jinxing that one.
That's funny.
I'll end you on this one. Golden Knights or Knights? Which should it be?
I like the Golden Knights.
There we go. Old school. Daunte Culpepper, it has been a pleasure. We appreciate the generosity of your time. You are held in well regard by Knight Nation. Thank you for your contributions to UCF Athletics, for all you do for Knight Nation. And we look forward to talking with you again on the Sons of UCF.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right, go Golden Knights.
Go Knights.